How you guys doing? Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year, and this is 2&A Tech back for another round of New Year releases. Okay, so you see my knife. You see this old Panasonic Lumix camera, and you're thinking, what is this all about? Well, today is something a little different. So there's a company, ZTE, Nubia, however you want to call it. I believe it's Nubia is the parent company. But either way, they are on the precipice of announcing and have released a few new devices this year. One is gaming centric and one is camera centric. And that is the Nubia Z60 Ultra. So this was recently released. This is the, like I said, the Nubia Z60 Ultra. It's got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Potentially one of the first phones in the US market, at least in North America, released with that chipset. It comes in 8, 12, or 16 gig ROM configurations. Also with storage, 256, 512, and it says 1 terabyte, but I haven't seen the 1 terabyte version of this. It runs Nubia MyOS 14, has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, comes in 2 colors, black and silver, and it's IP68 rated. What's interesting about this is Nubia has been releasing phones at a crazy pace, I should say, and they're all camera centric. They had a Z50 that I tried. I wasn't too impressed by that, but this one looks interesting, and the design is very unique. But looking at this box, you can see it's kind of embossed, kind of nice. You see the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, you see some other certifications. This is the 16 gig 512 version in black, and this is the US version. They have an international version, a Chinese version, and the US version. Representative of Nubia did tell me that the international version and the US version will work in the US, but I opted for the US version because they said there's something called an international ROM. Not really sure how it differentiates from the American version. So like I said, there's an 8 gig, 12 gig, and 16 gig version. The 8 gig retails for $599, and I haven't seen it on their website since its initial release a couple weeks ago. Then the 12 gigabyte version is $649, and the 16 gig, which is this one, is $779. So if you can get your hands on the 8 or 12 gig for that price, it's a killer deal. We'll just open it up. The screen size is 6.8 inches with a resolution of 2480 by 1116. It's got a 120 hertz refresh rate with a PPI of 400. It supports HDR10 Plus, and it does have PWM dimming at 2160 hertz. So I'm going to pull the phone out here, and I'm not going to show off that design yet. Let's see what the box comes with here. So you got your, interestingly enough, you've got your quick start guide, which we all always read. It's a good bedtime story. And just by showing you the case, you can see the interesting design it has here. But just a hard case, no side protection. But interesting, these Chinese phone manufacturers a lot of times include a case just because whether you need it or not, it's hard to find cases for those phones in the US. And if you don't get it for free, you're going to be buying one from their site for a little more money. But it's nice to see if they include it, especially for that price. You've got a red charging cable. That's all we have in this. Kind of a big box just for a charging cable. And then you have, looks like a charging brick. And this one is rated at 80 watts. So just 80 watt fast charging. So moving on. So we'll talk about the screen. It's got 3 cameras. It's got a 35 millimeter main camera, 50 megapixel. It's the IMX 800. It's got aperture of 1.59, and it does have optical image stabilization. The wide angle is an 18 millimeter, 50 megapixel with a 1.8 aperture. I got autofocus, and it's got OIS. And then finally, it's got an 85 millimeter telephoto lens, and that one is 64 megapixels, and it also has OIS, or optical image stabilization. For the front camera, it's uninterrupted, which means it's covered by the screen. So it's underneath the screen, and it's a 12 megapixel. Not much to that. Probably not going to be fantastic, but they are on their 4th, 5th, whatever generation of that, so it should be getting better. It does have Wi-Fi 802.11, 8BG, and AC, AX, BE, and Wi-Fi 7, and Bluetooth 5.4. Fingerprint sensor. It looks like we have an IR blaster on the top. And like I said, 6,000 milliamp hour battery, so it should last a long time. And it's got 80-watt wired charging, but no wireless. So let's get this thing open. I know it's what you guys really came here to see. Wow. You guys. Okay, let's get the sticker off here. Look at this. So here is the screen. As you can see, there's nothing on. Maybe I'll try to power it on, see if you can see. It's probably going to be a black startup screen to not show off that top part, but you see it does turn on. You got just antenna lines on one side. It is a slab, and it's squared off, and it's cold because it's been outside, but it's definitely so there you go. That's on. The camera is right here, but you can't see it. So I'm going to take a look real close. And you guys, I guess at an angle you can kind of see. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like right there. But big, beautiful screen. It's not 2K resolution, so you're going to lose some there. On the back, it's kind of like a matte finish. You got your main sensor, your ultra wide, and your telephoto. It looks like it is maybe, I don't think it's periscope, but it's definitely interesting. You got your flash up there. On the bottom, you've got one speaker, your SIM tray, and Type-C. And on the top, I kind of showed you microphone, and it looks like an IR blaster. So if you're really into IR blasters, that might be something you're interested in. It's something you need to look at. But this is the Nubia Z60 Ultra. Is this a flagship killer? It's on paper, the cameras are great. The IMX 800 has been around for a little while, so it's something new, and it's all about software. As we know, Samsung, Google, Apple, and if we all know, Google used the same camera sensor for many years, but their software magic made it that great. So in the past, what I've noticed with this is that they look great on paper and they're spec monsters, but in terms of processing, they kind of lack. So I'm hoping there's a change here. But this is the Nubia, like I said, the Z60 Ultra. This is their camera-centric, more general, you know, appease the general consumer with great cameras kind of phone. They do have a gaming phone, and that will be the next video, and I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later. But if you're interested in this, I'll leave a link down in the description below. You can order it. At the time of this recording, it was sold out. But if you're interested, check them out, see what other features it has to offer, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.